Whilst I hate the term, it seems to be the common parlance nowadays. So here's a quick hack to improve the way you specify dates when you're dealing with the Oracle database. If you're anything like me, generally I'm a bit lazy when it comes to typing in two dates because I'm familiar with the default client settings on my SQL Plus tools, etc. I often just type in to date and type in a string, and it works fine because I know the value of the NLS date format. However, that's obviously generally not considered good practice, because if I did that in an application, then I'm now at the whim of the client settings. If someone changes their client settings, I'm going to have all sorts of problems. We can see this the moment someone veers away from my standard DDMONYY format. I'm using here some of the common formats. I'm using like some dashes and some slashes, and all of those simply crash whatever query I'm trying to run because the database in its current NLS format does not understand the fact that I'm not specifying the month in the way it's expecting. As I'm sure you're aware, we all get taught that the safest way whenever you're nominating a date is to make sure you specify both the string and the format mask that matches that string. That way you're not going to have any issues with ambiguity. There's a certain irony there though, because even though we're told to do this, the database then almost flips itself. It says, well, yes, you've given me a format mask, and based on that, I'll be a little bit more generous with my allowance of what you enter in. You might ask for a format mask of slashes, but it's going to say dashes and other things are going to be just fine. It seems funny that when you go to that extra step of providing more precision to the database, it's going to say, well, because of your precision, I'll give you a little bit more leeway and less precision will be allowed. I'll flip my date format back to its default setting just to show you a couple of other gotchas as well. What happens now if my clients come in from another country? This can create what we call a sleeper problem, where your expectation of the dates coming in seems fine until you hit some sort of conflict. For example, here, now that I've set my language to German, I can still do to date with January. It works fine. I can do to date with February. It also works fine. And at this point, I might put my application into production thinking that it's all just going to be lovely. Of course, when I hit May, well, that's no longer a valid month in the German language, and I'll start getting errors. Just because a to-date function works some of the time doesn't mean it's going to work all of the time. You need to take into account not just the format, but the language settings as well. So if clients are going to specify different languages and different date formats, what's a simple, easy way to nominate dates and timestamps without having to worry about all that stuff? Well, there is a solution at hand. A little-known facility is to nominate the keyword date and then specify the string in a fixed format. That fixed format is century, month, day. That's the only format allowed. But the beauty of that is there's no issues in terms of client settings or format masks. You simply nominate date followed by the string you want. This also works with timestamps. With a timestamp, it's century, month, day, and then hour, minute, second. That gets you a timestamp down to the second. You can nominate zeros if you want to get the equivalent of a date without any second component. Timestamps also allow you to go to fractional parts of seconds. You simply use the same string and then do a trailing period and then the fractional parts to the precision you want. That'll give you a timestamp data type. If you're looking for a timestamp with a time zone, that's also supported. You simply nominate the timestamp keyword followed by the full timestamp syntax, then with the additional time zone component. So there you have date, timestamp, timestamp with time zone that can all be specified nice and quickly, nice and simply, and you don't have to worry about issues with format masks and language settings. A quicker way than using things like to date.